Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Richard, founder of Short Term Rental University and Airbnb Superhost, coming to you live from Sag Harbor in the harbor with my girlfriend Erika, and we wanted to share with you some experiences that we had recently in New York City, which is where we were right before we came here to Sag Harbor. But in the meantime, just look at kind of the harbor around here. We're gonna walk around while we chat, but it's absolutely beautiful here. It's a little bit of a gray, overcast day, but who cares, right? Before we came here, we spent a little bit of time in New York City. We did a review of the Ian Schrager Public Hotel, and then right around there were two institutions that are, you know, around for a long time, and I'm actually going to read about them because I want to make sure that we capture this correctly. They're both in the food and beverage business, like restaurants, if you will. There's a lot of lessons that we can learn about a lot of the things that I've been teaching about: creating a brand, doing your own thing, doing one thing really well, attracting your tribe, knowing your audience and satisfying them to the degree that nobody else can. And so I want to give two real life examples, and we'll turn to Erika and ask her sort of her impressions, because while I've been to both many times, having lived in New York previously, she's never been to some of these. So the first one I want to talk about is Katz's Delicatessen, and also known as Katz's of New York City, is a kosher-style delicatessen located at 205 East Houston Street on the Lower East Side in Manhattan, New York City. Since its founding in 1888, it has been popular among locals and tourists alike for its pastrami on rye, which is considered among New York's best. Each week, Katz's serves 15,000 pounds of pastrami, 8,000 pounds of corned beef, 2,000 pounds of salami, and 4,000 hot dogs. That's a lot of food, friends. In 2016, Zagat gave Katz's food a rating of 4.5 out of 5 and ranked it as the #1 deli in New York City. Now, its history. In 1888, the Iceland brothers established what is now known as Katz's Delicatessen on Ludlow Street in New York's Lower East Side. Upon the arrival of Willie Katz in 1903, the establishment was renamed and changed from Iceland Brothers to Iceland and Katz. Willie's cousin Benny joined him in 1910, buying out the Iceland Brothers to form Katz's Delicatessen. Their landlord, Harry Tarowski, bought into the partnership in 1917. Well, it's been going on for a long, long time, and they haven't really changed what it is that they do. They continue to do it in the exact same way. They really only take cash, although they now accept credit cards in the back, but they've got this antiquated system. They give you this little ticket, and you walk around, and you can't lose the ticket, or they charge you the maximum price. But they do one thing, and they do it really well, and that's basically feed New York City delicatessen to people from all over the world. It's been in the movie When Harry Met Sally, and that's that famous joke, like, I'll have what she's having, right?
I'll have what she's having.
So what can we learn from Katz's Delicatessen, and what does that apply to your short-term rentals? Before we turn to that, Erika, what did you think? How was the food? How was the experience? What did you think?
Well, it was really fun for me because When Harry Met Sally is one of my favorite movies.
There you go. And so you've seen that scene.
Yes.
And was it like accurate? Was the environment that they portrayed similar? Was the quality of the sandwich, like, was it orgasmic?
Absolutely.
Yes. Friends. No, seriously, tell us a little bit about what you thought.
It was a really special experience. It was unlike any other. I've never gone in and been handed a ticket, and you have to hold on to the ticket, go from station to station.
Right, so you get your meat in one station, the french fries in another station, the coleslaw in another station, your beverage in another station.
Right.
There's lines and throngs of people.
Right.
It's like insane.
It was really impressive how efficient, like, they move through people. I mean,
yeah, because they're for profit.
Yeah.
It's a successfully run business.
Turn and burn, baby.
Yeah, and the sandwiches are really thick and delicious.
Yeah. Really
Fantastic, really yummy, highly recommend it. And also trade at a premium. You pay a lot of money. I think the pastrami sandwiches that we had were on the order of $29. I mean, that's like a meal, and yet there's hundreds of people. When we got there, there was a line out the door. We had to stand in line to get in, then we had to stand in line behind each one of the counters to get this sandwich, and then to get the fries, and then to get whatever, and then it was hard to get a table, and it's not a great environment, right? There's like people hustling and bustling and elbowing, and yet thousands of people do it every single day. 15,000 pounds of pastrami a week to pay a premium to stand in line. Part of it is the experience, but part of it is the quality. And so the lesson that we would learn from Katz's is to do one thing and do it really well, and don't deviate, and don't try to be all things to all people, right? Like, if you want
in your lane.
Yeah, if you want a hamburger, go elsewhere, right?
Totally.
If you want like a vegetarian salad, go elsewhere. But if you want the best pastrami sandwich, like in New York City, possibly the world, then you trek, and it's a destination. It's not convenient. It's not like it happens to be close to the hotel we stayed in, but otherwise you're taking a $20 Uber down there, or you're taking a subway and walking 15 minutes, and yet people do it every single day, 365 days a year, with rain, with snow, it doesn't matter. And that's the kind of brand and loyalty and following and raving fan that we want you to do. And any other thoughts on Katz's before we turn to the second example?
Well, I mean, you had been craving it for days.
Yeah, well, it becomes, you know, part of you. Part of me is having grown up in New York City. I used to go there with my father, so there's a tradition. I've taken my kids there, I've brought my girlfriend there. So it becomes part of, you know, like your essence and who you are and your soul and yeah, your New York experience. And I don't eat it every day. In fact, I couldn't eat it every day. I don't think it's the healthiest thing in the world. In fact, I know it's not, but like, every once in a while, you need it.
It's worth the sin.
Yeah, it's worth the sin. All right, so the second experience we want to share with you is our experience at Russ Daughters, also in the same neighborhood and also part of like New York City Jewish culture and tradition. Russ Daughters is an appetizing store opened in 1914. It is located at 179 Houston Street on the Lower East Side of Manhattan in New York City. It is a family-operated store. It has been in the same location since 1914. Joel Ross, a Polish immigrant who arrived in Manhattan around 1905, started the business to cater to the Jewish immigrants settling in the Lower East Side of New York. He began by carrying Polish mushrooms on his shoulder and saved enough money to purchase a pushcart. He then expanded his operation and sold pickle herring as well as Polish mushrooms. Then, in 1914, Joel Russ opened J. Russ International Appetizers, a storefront around the corner from the current location. In 1920, Joel Russ opened his store at the current location at 179 East Houston Street. In 1933, he renamed the business Russ and Daughters after making his three daughters, Haiti, Annie, and Ida, partners in the store. Historically, businesses took on the same name and sons, but since Russ and his wife Bella only had daughters, his business became Russ and Daughters. However, Joel Russ was not a feminist ahead of his time. For him, getting his daughters into the business was not a matter of women's rights, but a matter of parnosa, or survival, to make the business. As he put it, it was concerned with, from where do we take our living? According to Haiti, she and the other daughters all had worked in the store since they were 8 years old, on weekends, fishing out herring fillets from the pickle barrels. Each one of them finished high school, they all worked full-time, and moreover, Joel Ross kept the store open 7 days a week. Calvin Trillin wrote about Russ and Daughters in the 1970s in the New Yorker Food Pieces, and in 2008, the Jews of New York documentary premiered on PBS featuring the three generations of the Russ and Daughters family. So this is a very long tradition, history, all family business, ahead of his time by including the daughters in the business and doing one thing really well, right? Mostly smoked fish, pickled herring and smoked fish. We had unbelievable bagels, a crazy experience again, line out the door, take a number, wait in line. It's not comfortable, but there's people there, and it's also trades at a premium price. The bagel was not the least expensive, but it is the best. And that's the lesson, right? It was so good, right? So what did you get and what'd you think? And let's keep walking around a little bit.
Let's see, I got a pumpernickel bagel.
Okay, pumpernickel bagel.
Let's see, with cream cheese, the smoked salmon.
What kind of cream cheese?
Oh, it was horseradish and dill.
Horseradish and dill cream cheese and smoked salmon on a pumpernickel bagel. Tomato, onion, and capers, right?
Yeah.
And what'd you think? How'd it taste?
It was incredible.
Wasn't that amazing?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
It was incredible.
Right. And so is it worth waiting in line and paying a premium and making the destination? Again, it's not convenient to anything.
My mouth was so happy.
Don't you want one now?
It was such a great way to start the day.
Right. I mean, it was just, it's unparalleled. It's unrivaled. They do one thing. They do it really well. Again, if you want scrambled eggs or you want French toast or you want pancakes, you don't go there. But if you have the desire for the best bagel and smoked lox and that experience, then there's really no other place to go, right? And so it's the lesson that we want to teach and share with you entrepreneurs about running your own short-term rental business. What is it that you do better than everyone else that will get people to come to your place, bookmark your place, try and request your place, book offline because they need your place that far in advance, and they're no longer concerned about, will you discount? Can you give me a discount? What if I stay 7 nights? Will you give me a discount? Right? No one's walking into Katz's or Russ and Daughters and asking for a discount.
Right.
They're like throwing cash at them.
Right.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so much a part of the experience. I mean, walking into Russ and Daughters and even walking into Katz's, I mean, my guess would be neither establishment have made any kind of significant updates to their aesthetics in years, if ever.
No need.
But
And
it was all, I mean, you kind of felt like you were stepping back in a moment in time, and yeah, you liked kind of the hustle and bustle of it, and you liked
how different it is, right?
Absolutely.
It's that sense of arrival,
Right.
It may
Right.
not be the sense of arrival.
I never for a second thought I was in a Starbucks.
Right, exactly, right?
Right.
Differentiated, attract the people.
Absolutely.
You know, some people may hate it. Some people might get there and it's too crowded and it's too noisy and too much hustle and bustle. And
Right.
it doesn't look clean and it's not modern aesthetic. And so those people go somewhere else, maybe
Right.
Starbucks.
Right.
Nothing wrong with Starbucks. I love Starbucks and I'm a shareholder
Absolutely.
in Starbucks, so I like that too.
Right.
And we can teach on Starbucks about efficiencies and modern operations and how you
Sure.
scale and that design aesthetic. There's lessons to be learned there too, but the lesson today is about being yourself, being
Right.
true to yourself, being true to your
Authentic.
heritage, being transparent, being authentic, incorporating your family, teaching your kids how to do this stuff. You know, in the 1900s, to include your daughters when everyone else was only including the sons, he wasn't doing it to be a feminist rights promoter, but that was his reality. In order to
Right.
survive, he had to have his children, his daughters, doing it.
Right.
And now they still remain partners. It's still family owned. They're thriving. They're succeeding. They're charging a premium. They're written
Right.
about. They're in documentaries. Katzs is in movies.
Yeah.
So what can you do, friends, to have your short-term rental business be written about, to be in documentaries, to be around with your kids, to be around for generations, right? It's a long-term investment. So you have the opportunity, if you change your mindset from get rich quick to I'm going to be doing this for generations and I'm going to pass it down. It's part of my legacy. My kids are going to be involved. I want to be written about.
Well, what's your lane? What do you want your lane to look like? Establish your lane, define it.
Stay in your lane, right?
And
Define
stay-
your
and-
lane and
and
stay in
stay
your
in it,
lane.
right.
And you don't have to own everything. I've said before, and this is
Exactly.
totally true. If you're not speaking to somebody specifically, if you're trying to speak broadly to a general audience, you're speaking to nobody.
No one's hearing
Right?
you.
Exactly.
Right.
So we aren't teaching on this channel all types of real estate investing. Here's what you do in multifamily, and here's what you do in commercial, and here's what you do in industrial, and here's what you do in retail.
Right.
We're teaching how to view the short-term rental opportunity as a terrific launching pad to create a real estate empire. And I've also discussed that you should diversify. So maybe there is a place for multifamily for you down the road. And at that point, you'll find a different channel and a different mentor. But for right now, what we're doing here, walking in a little bit in the rain, in the gray in Sag Harbor, is educating on how you create a brand, how you create raving fans, how you distinguish yourselves from competition, and how you do not compete on price. Price is not something that you need to adjust. You deliver tremendous value above and beyond. You get raving fans, they line up out the door, they pay only cash, they stand in different counter lines with a ticket, on and on and on. Like, you can make people jump through hurdles. I wouldn't recommend trying that, you know, but if you're really good at what you do, the proof is in the pudding. People will actually do that. So I hope you found this video interesting. Uh-oh, we're getting, I hope you found this video, we're getting run over for short-term rentals, friends. I hope you found this video interesting, inspiring. Please comment below. What is it that you do in your business to differentiate yourself, to stand out, to create your own lane, to define what it is that you do and attract your tribe? If you do that well, you won't have competition and you certainly won't compete on price. I'd love to hear below, so comment below. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe.
Subscribe!
Yes! All right, thank you.